Well, Shaunie Henderson, better known as Shaunie O'Neal for many years, the former wife of Shaquille O'Neal, she had said something that kind of set the internet on fire a little bit, an excerpt out of her recent memoir. Now she wants to set the record straight, and where she's answering questions that actually she talked to People magazine about her not being in love, with her ex-husband, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, her memoir was titled Undefeated, Changing the Rules and Winning on My Own Terms. Now, that was released May the 7th, and she's 49 years old, and she had what set the internet by fire is this. She said, looking back, I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man, they say, whom she married in 2002. It said the next day, Shaquille posted a message on social media referencing the confession of his ex-wife. He says, I understand. I wouldn't have been in love with me either. He said, wishing you all the best. All love, Shaq. That's what he said. He continued to say on the quote, said, trust me, I get it. Okay? So a lot of people came to Shaq's defense at that time. A lot of women even chimed in and was defending Shaq, because let me tell you something. Women know what another woman is saying when she says, I wasn't in love with you. They know what that means. And now, too, a lot of men, that terminology, well, I love you, but I'm not really in love with you. Men, all we hear is either I love you or I don't. So if you say I'm not in love, that means you don't. That's how a lot of men gonna translate it, or the men will get confused with that. They say, what do you mean? What do you mean you say you love me, but you're not in love with me? What does that even mean? It'll get a lot of men frustrated. But other women know what they say. And when other women is coming to Shaq's defense at that moment, even Kate Beckinsale came in and talked about snatching wigs. I'm like, wow, I never heard Kate Beckinsale even speak like that. But in the relation to Shaq, she was speaking that way. Now, why would Kate Beckinsale respond that way? Because she knew exactly what she was saying as a woman. A woman knows another woman saying that. So basically, you were saying that you really didn't love the man like that. Maybe you love the convenience. Maybe you love the idea, but you didn't really love the man himself. So people were questioning, well, why would you have 4 kids with him? But it's a lot of things that she could have said. But we'll talk about that, right? So she continued to say that everybody was taking what she said out of context. She said, my book is my truth. And when I was talking to my friend yesterday, I was like, developing an opinion and a comment from content with no context will show you a lot of people's intelligence and unintelligence, right? She said, there was no context to just that one quote that I said. And I think that sadly, people are taking my words out of context. She said, I'm not a word girl. I'm a character girl. And since I've left the marriage of Shaquille, my character has spoken for itself. She continued. She says that she can't speak for, Shaq or why he would run with it. It said out of context excerpt on social media said, but it's my book, my truth, it's my legacy. Well, Shaunie, stand on it, sister. That's what you said. If you wanted proper context, you should have wrote the proper context, what you was actually saying. That's all. That's on you. How people read something is what you wrote, ma'am. Now, continue to say when you love somebody, you love somebody. But to be in love with somebody is a different feeling. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize that until I found the love of my life right now. And I'm in this marriage. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a different feeling. She says of her current husband, Shaunie Henderson, whom she married in 2022. Of course it's different. First of all, it's a different individual. Second of all, you're much older now. And you should have matured. You should have. And what you was probably doing back in that time period or what y'all was going through in that time period versus now is totally different. It is totally different. But I think it's quite strange. Why would you even write that? Let's call it what it is, Shaunie. You've been riding this man's coattail ever since you've been divorced from him, right? Now, y'all got divorced, I know, behind, him cheating. Got that. And I wouldn't tell you to stay with somebody that did that to you. That's not what I'm saying. But the fact is, Shaunie, you rode this man's coattail. You kept the name O'Neal the whole time. You could have went back to your maiden name. Your children's name is what they are. But you could have went back to your maiden name. You was riding that man's name the whole time, or the ex-wife of Shaquille O'Neal. You even did Basketball Wives. You created that. And you said these were women that was married to NBA players or relationships with NBA players. So your whole premise of Basketball Wives is still riding your ex-husband's coattail. Let's call it what it is. Even your current husband that you have now, why are you even writing about Shaq in that way? Like, you got a new husband, you got a new relationship. Why are you worried about the past with Shaq and all that? You say, oh, it's a memoir. I get all that, but you still riding that brother's coattail, ma'am. I mean, like, seriously. Like, she don't realize that she wouldn't be what she is today if it wouldn't be for Shaquille. So you wasn't in love with him, but you sure was in love with that O'Neal name all them years, weren't you? You was in love with all the opportunities that came to you with that O'Neal name, but you wasn't in love with him? Okay, got you. Now, they continue to say here, they say her words being taken out of context reminded Henderson that people often see what they want to see. People don't read, what they mean love, not in love. They said that they pick out the words they want. Again, context is everything. Say over the course of the relationship, which began in the 90s and ultimately ended in 2009 when Henderson filed for separation. The couple struggled with infidelity, which O'Neal admitted in his 2011 memoir, Shaq Uncut My Story. They say speaking to the media before the memoir's release, Henderson admitted that O'Neal confessing to his downfalls in their marriage made it easier for her to open up. He said, I was like, oh, okay, he told on himself, and she laughed. Yeah, because Shaq admitted, what he's doing. Even what he said at the time when you responded that way, that, hey, he get it, because he understood what he was doing, right? But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. There's really no reason to even go that route with him. And then what about his children, right? Oh, think about them. They hear you say them like, boy, mama, you really didn't love my dad like that? Like, okay, so why you laid up and had all these kids with the man if you really didn't love the man like that? That's how people hear it. Listen, most people, and I'm all for this terminology, either you love a person or you don't. It's just that simple. Because, just me being older and I just kind of understand some things now. When a woman starts saying, well, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, then she's one step out the door. That's usually how it goes. They teeter-totter on going. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but they one step out the door. You one step, maybe possibly get your behind cheated on as a man when they start talking like that. Because why? Why they say they have love for you, but in the end you don't love that person. You don't love that. See, men, we don't do that. We don't tell a woman, well, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like, most men be like, either we all in or we all out. That's mostly how most men react. Right? But we understand men and women aren't the same. We all understand that 100%. My thing is, now, let's just keep it on the story. What Shaq did at the time was wrong. He admits that, and I don't have an issue with her. Now, if she would have said, I got with Shaq, I loved him, XYZ, but when he started cheating on me, I still had love for him, but, I just couldn't respect him anymore. It took away some of the feelings I had because of the constant cheating. That response right there, I'm with her 2,000%. With her 2,000%. You have to, if you're going to say it's your memoir, then go into it, how it made you feel. I'm not saying she didn't say that in her memoir. Not saying she didn't say that. But we're talking about at least in that part, she didn't follow it up with because of what he was doing constantly. He was disrespecting me. He was doing this. He was doing that. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So yes, Shaunie, context is everything. You should explain that context. That's all. Don't get mad because you didn't write it right or your editors didn't review it for context and say, yeah, maybe you want to say it like this or maybe follow it up with this. Because she didn't even follow up her response with, yeah, because I felt that way because after he started cheating on me, it kind of changed. That would have been a perfect answer, but she didn't do that. So Shaunie, maybe get better editor, sis. Explain yourself a little bit better. But that terminology, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, that's never going to end well when a person hears that.